Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and it's great you could join me for today's video. Now, as you can tell, I'm sure, I am about to hit the road again. This was completely unplanned. I had no intention of making this purchase or was even really looking for it. But during one of the intermissions of the hockey game last night, I popped onto Facebook and took a look in the marketplace at my saved searches. And something came up. Now, it had a combination of being very close. I'm only heading to Waterbury, which is less than half an hour away. Quite inexpensive, and something with a great deal of nostalgia for me. So, let's hit the road and see what we can find. Stay tuned. So if anyone's wondering, obviously, bright, sunshiny day today should make for a much easier drive. Again, it's a short drive. I'm not expecting to do a lot of clips on the way. So, stay tuned. All right, so here we are. Apartment complexes or condos, whatever. Here in Waterbury. I have a fondness for Waterbury. I played for many, many years in the Waterbury Symphony Orchestra. Not a great orchestra, certainly, but it did serve to give some employment when the Hartford Symphony happened not to be playing. And they scheduled pretty carefully around that. So, anyhow, I need to go find this guy's apartment, do the job, and then head home. Stay tuned. And it's loaded into the car. Easy enough thing. Off we go, and I'll show you what we got. Stay tuned. And we're back. Easy trip, no problems at all, and I'm sure what you want to do now, more than anything, is to see what I got. It is an iMac G5. Now, those of you who religiously pore over every video that I do, and believe me, I would like to thank all three of you from the bottom of my heart, may remember a series of videos I did a while back on my iMac G5. Why then have I bought another one? I had no intention of doing so. In between periods of the hockey game last night, I popped onto Facebook and looked at Facebook Marketplace. I've got saved searches there for, retro Apple computing products. And this one was the first thing that popped up. It caught my eye, reading something along the lines of iMac G5 Snow Leopard. Well, as we know, that's not completely impossible. There is a beta build pre-release of Snow Leopard that has been hacked to run on PowerPCs, but it's very unlikely. So, I started researching the computer. Could this actually be one of the first Intels, which looked very, very similar, and the seller just didn't know. No, he actually did have some other pictures, a series of pictures, one of which showing System Profiler, which clearly indicated a PowerPC G5, 1.6 gigahertz. So that wasn't the case. So anyhow, there was a picture that had the About This Mac screen, but it was so blurry that you couldn't read it. So I messaged the guy, really just planning on telling him and helping him correct his advertisement to sell the machine, because I didn't really need it. So I said, that's a PowerPC computer. It can't run Snow Leopard. Do you mean Leopard? And he said no. So he messaged back after a bit, no, it's Snow Leopard. That's what was on it when it came to me. So I asked him if he could send me a picture of the About This Mac screen that would be clearer. And sure enough, it's running 10.5.8. It is leopard. But as I was waiting for him to do that, I started looking at this and thinking about it. And went to everymac.com, which we all do to look up our Mac specs, I'm sure. The machine in question is a 2004 1.6 gigahertz PowerPC processor iMac. And that got me to thinking. Maybe I did want it after all. One of the things in there, it was in Waterbury, which is like 20 minutes away from here. Not a big problem to go get it at all. Well, he had it listed for $75. I wasn't going to pay $75 for it. I offered him $45, and he took it. Now, why do I want it? When I first got my first computer, I was going to get a Mac. In fact, I think it was a Mac SE. May have been a Mac Plus, but I think it was an SE. Maybe it was a Plus. Well, it doesn't really matter. However, I had my vehicle stolen. I was at a rehearsal for the Hartford Symphony. Came out after the rehearsal. No minivan. So obviously I had to replace the vehicle, and being able to get back and forth to work was somewhat more important than buying a computer. So I canceled the deal on the computer. Now my mother, the wonderful person that she was, gifted me with an IBM PS2. So I did start using a computer, and that got me going into the world of Windows for a while. I always wanted a Mac, though. In fact, late one night, I ordered an iMac G3. Woke up the next morning going, oh my God, what have I done? I don't have the money for that. I've got a couple of working computers here anyway. I don't really need to buy that much, though I want it. So I canceled the order. Anyhow, I got a phone call some years later, late 2004 it would have been, from my mother, just incredibly excited, going, I just bought an iMac G5. And I said, well, that's really cool. I always wanted a Mac. I'm kind of jealous and all of that. I'm thinking, now, I didn't think that much of it, but my mom, going to Christmas, my mom gave me an iMac G5. That's a twin to it. 17-inch, 1.6 gigahertz. It was the low-end iMac G5, but it was an iMac G5. At first, I didn't really use it that much. I was using an IBM NetVista at that point, which I had upgraded, but it was on its last legs. It was crashing all the time. A lot of that probably had as much to do with Windows as it had to do with the NetVista itself. But, I'm finally thinking, geez, do I need to buy a new computer? No, wait a minute. There's a new computer right over there. So I just swung myself around and started using the Mac. I never looked back. Haven't owned a Windows computer in many, many years now. So anyway, that's why this was so attractive. In honor of my mother, I present the 2004 iMac G5. Why don't we take a look at it? Stay tuned. All right, here we are from the front. The Apple logo, that huge bezel there at the bottom. Of course, they were jamming the entire computer into this. They got a whole lot better putting the computer components into these little cases. Need some cleaning up there on the stand, but that shouldn't be that hard to do. A little glue gun will help with that. There is the slot loading DVD drive. And then to the back, let's make some room here. All right. Ventilation. Audio ports. This is an interesting one right here. That is a mini VGA. You could actually connect an external monitor to this using that mini port. You can still find them. I've got one kicking around somewhere. All right, we have here 3 USB 2 ports, 2 Firewire 400, telephone. Yeah, people still use dial-up at the point that this came in, introduced in August 2004, I believe. And of course, the Ethernet port, kind of important since that's, the seller, I believe, indicated that there is no air port in this. And the power button, which on iMacs of this era is in fact located over here on what would be the right-hand side of the computer if we were looking at it from there. Pardon my finger. Okay, let me get this thing set up. Let's boot it up and see if it runs. It should, unless all those pictures were faked. Stay tuned. Well, okay, let's have at it. Oh, light came on. There's the chime. It's a good sign. We have video. We have Apple. All right. Should clearly boot into Leopard from the pictures in the ad. I notice there's a little, just down here, you won't see it, but there's a little tiny crack in the acrylic there, but not in the screen, just down from the corner of the screen there. Okay. It's kind of sitting on this blue screen for a while. We should see an Aurora. The Aurora usually, oh, okay, there's the Aurora. All right. And we're fully loaded. It's alive. All right, about this Mac. Why is it doing that? Maybe this mouse, I don't know. Unplug the mouse from the keyboard and plugged it into the computer. I don't know. I haven't used that keyboard in a while. That could be all sorts of things. Okay, anyway, here. iMac G5, PowerMac 8,1, PowerPC G5, 1.6 gigahertz, a whopping 512 megabytes of RAM. Wow. Although in reading the specs, it came originally with 256 gigabytes. So let's look at the. Okay, yeah, there are 2 slots in the machine. They both have 256 megabyte modules in there. RAM is really quite easy to upgrade in these machines. In fact, I did it on the original one that I had. It's already picked up the network time. That's good. All right, is there Bluetooth? No, there is no Bluetooth. Is there AirPort? No, there is no AirPort, but I have got it plugged in. Actually, yeah, my original one didn't have AirPort. Yeah, the one my mom got me was the lowest priced one you could get. Oh, God bless her. What an incredible present that was. Oh, graphics and displays. Okay, NVIDIA GeForce FX 5200 with 64 megabytes of video RAM. That should be decent enough for this machine. Okay, serial ATA. What do we got for the hard drive here? Western Digital. Capacity, in effect, an 80 gig hard drive. That's kind of a pain. I was hoping it would be a little bigger. 'cause I don't really want to throw a huge amount of money into this machine. The RAM I'm going to have to upgrade. There's no question about that. So I think at least at first I'm going to try partitioning this drive maybe 30 and 50 roughly, and get Panther on one partition and a fresh install of Leopard on the other. USB buses, okay, we can see all of that. Firewire, yep, Firewire 400. Well, you can tell that from the plugs. Well, okay. Now, there's all sorts of stuff on here. I'm not even going to look into that. There's probably some personal things in there, but we'll wipe this clean anyway. A lot of Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop CS, Photoshop 7. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I think we're probably in a good place here. Yeah, I think that's where we'll go with this. I will be putting more RAM in there because it is sluggish with only 512 megs. Leopard just barely runs on 512. So we'll put the full 2 gig in there. We'll partition the hard drive and get clean installs of Panther and Leopard going. So maybe we'll look at that in a future video. But, this is cool. I had, as I said, when I originally got it, it came with Panther reinstalled. I left Panther on it. Panther was working fine. I didn't see any real reason to want to upgrade to Tiger. Remembering, of course, at that time, you had to spend $120 or whatever it was for Mac OS, and I just didn't see a reason to spend the money. When Leopard came out, there was enough going on there that I wanted to spend the money. So yeah, it'd be nice to get both those 2 operating systems up and running on this machine, and it's a nostalgia piece more than anything, but I already love it. Well, thank you so much for coming along with me on this and taking a look. I'm looking forward to at least one follow-up video on this, and of course a whole lot more things. I've got Power Macs, G5s, G4s, all sorts of stuff. So, be good to other people. Be good to yourselves. We'll make this world a better place. It isn't just yet, so please take very, very good and careful care in these difficult times. We shall be back with you very, very soon with a lot more what I hope you will find to be very interesting stuff. Until that time, this has been Broken Electronics.